Welcome back. I have another short for you all as the sun goes down, and as we do have a super volcano active here, there might be a bit of earthquake before it happens. So I decided to re-record just so you know. It should be all good. They have not evacuated us. I'm in the lovely city of Naples, Italy, but I'm near Naples, Italy. So the area is the Phlegraean field. And so, yeah, we get to go through that. And on that note, an empowered woman, we easily discern healthy boundaries from boundaryless maladaptive child behavior because our nervous system knows as long as you are emotionally, mentally immature, I'm still safe, which is why I'll be safe with you versus a bear. Nature, on the other hand, here's where my actual nervous system, every time we get these earthquakes, it goes through a process that I have learned about, and now I just need to allow the fear to go and move away. And it's something that a lot of people have conflict about here. Some people think that the system is not going to do enough. Some people think we're going to end up somewhere, and misinformation doesn't help. But there's good channels. I follow the good channels, and I trust the organizations because that's what a rational person does. But also, I live, as they would say in Italy, under the sky. And Naples Italians, they're really great about living la dolce vita, which is why, as an American, I'm no longer that on point person. I learned how to be flexible, so I got to learn how to be in the middle. And it's not fun to have to actually consistently evaluate the potential of physical death, my lovely listeners. And then I think I'm not unlucky. I'm a very lucky person compared to people that are in other parts of the world. So let's move forward with our topic. But I just wanted you to know in case you see anything, because like I said, I was recording. I was almost done, and we got one. And we got two this morning, if not three. So what it's doing now is this cycle. And now we just need to wait for the day to be over, and fingers crossed. If I go by any chance, I left you with a good memory. So anybody who's new, welcome. My name's Maria. I'm a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and I can easily discern between healthy boundaries and boundaryless maladaptive child behavior people, which means that they are a wounded inner child. And as Patrick Tian points out, they will refuse to give up on bad relationships. They also will go anywhere that they get taken in, because see, when a child is not the center of someone's world in a good enough way, they will try to find a home with anyone who will take them, and they will be confused. Often that's the way that they protect themselves, and their dysfunctional nervous system will recognize home as a not securely attached nervous system, meaning that they will be attracted to people who have emotional, not healthy boundaries. And on that note, we're going to use a scale. This one is the relationship grid. It's trademarked, and it's Terry Reals, and this is from Psychology Today. They're talking about how relationships and boundaries work. We're not going to read it. We're just going to use the grid so that we can move forward with our conversation. Okay, so when people have grandiosity, but they're walled off, so they're love avoidant, and there's two types, according to Terry Real. There's a lot of different attachment trauma information courses that I have. I bring spirituality, and human elements together, and that's why I'm the pseudoscience lady, also because as a mystic, woo-woo for the sciences people. Okay, so the love avoidant person, they will be indifferent, passive-aggressive. You're not worthy if they're in their grandiosity moment. If they are boundaryless, the love dependent, they will be controlling and angry, and they will not take their own responsibility for whatever they bring to the table. So I've seen that in women with men. Men get the passive aggressive. The worthy part I don't really know about, because I'm a person who's empowered. So even if you talk to me as if I'm not worthy, I know I'm worthy. It doesn't matter. Your tone won't make a difference to me, because I'm a 3-year-old with a tone. My tone still comes up with my mom and my twin, and I know how to work with it. And then when people are what are Cusco's, I know about it, and now I know attachment trauma informed. So I don't justify it. I don't lecture. Pacha. That's the 5D collective. We build 5D relationships. That's what empowered women do, and men and theys. Okay, so it's called healthy self-worth, which is why it's easy to know healthy boundaries is about us talking. And really, if we're not sharing a home and space, we won't most likely get into anything. If you're a healthy self-worth person, you talk about politics, religion, all of it. Nobody's teasing anybody. And if somebody is teasing and somebody says, you teased me and I'm upset, you're going to say, I'm sorry. Things that I do, we're going to like to hang out with the grown-up people, not the sensitive ego people. But, you're going to be friends with Sid and Manny's and Diego's and, Cusco's and squirrels and all that. That's what life is. And 5D mystics, we don't have sagas with our twin flame or twin flames. We're choice points, soulmates, you name it, our oversoul. Okay, so when people are in shame and walled off, so they're love avoidant, they will resign themselves, they will withdraw, and they will be in depressive states. Depends how long it takes them to get out of rumination. And if they notice that their brain is theirs for them to control and then work with, as well as their emotional plane. It's called self-regulation. You can learn it. I do it with my nervous system, panic attacks. And like right now, to gain and, I'm good, nothing's happening anymore. Let's let go. So we don't need the anxiety, but anxiety works to protect us. It evolved to protect us in nature. And we're still part of nature. And, that's the part. There's only so much people can do. And living under the sky is the Italian saying. La dolce vita, 24 hours, carpe diem. You only live once. So here's where shame with boundaryless people, so the one down, they get desperate and manipulative. And I've seen women in both ends of these spectrums. Not pretty at all. I've seen men in both of these spectrums. I've seen the men in the walled off, the love avoidant. I have potentially seen them in the control anger, desperation. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, okay. So yeah, I've seen both genders. I don't know any days. So in my personal life experience, and all of them, I don't know about their past, but I can say some will have had childhood developmental trauma, and therefore they can make use of good therapy to get that traumatization. Because there's a difference with if you have attachment wounds and a shame cycle based on attachment wound, and so you have those charged parts, the child parts, we all have them, and then you're able to face those feelings that come up because they're not a nervous system that's really freaking out. Okay, so on that note, what I got to learn as I became attachment trauma informed, because I support people to be their self with the inner growth mindset and you tapping into your infinite higher human conscious potential experience, is that people don't want to do personal development, and those who actually stick with bad relationships, they consistently only want to be shiny stars. If there's one thing about being a 5D mystic that I noticed, is people come to me for tarot card, oracle card, channeled guidance, all of it. Akashic record readings, past life regressions, Reiki. They will come in a way that is beyond a shadow of a doubt incomplete. And as people who are here, because we're channelers, because we're part of the same energy, and obviously here's where I love sciences, neurosciences, neurobiology, the hard problem of consciousness. I laugh because physicists, I think it's the physicists, metaphysicists, the sciences community, they don't have the direct relationship. But see, my direct relationship isn't a gift per se, although I come with Jesus and God. So the essence of life and love is a part of me, and I'm a part of it. But I'm good with dark matter, dark energy. So what I mean is human and spirit, one. I don't need to differentiate, because see, discernment means that I know how to use my brain, and I know how to be wise, compassionate, loving, and open-minded, and I can put a lot of different data points, evolutionary psychology, existential psychology, all of that which explains the human ego self, and then neuroscience and neurobiology. And I can say, when you're your 0-1-year-old like I am, you don't lose your innocence. You won't respect your parents because I don't have to do life the way you want. So I'm polyamorous, you're monoamory. You want to live in a monogamous world. I'm not going to be monogamous. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to like it. I don't need to be in a relationship romantically or sexually or anything like you. I will follow the laws. I will go vote. I will talk about it. I will seek to ensure that I can be in a home. Okay, like this is where a grown up knows how to evaluate. I don't need to bring in my belief system when it comes to relationships. And I don't need to bring in what I was raised with and what I can see from my caregiver. But this is why I'm a securely attached 0 to 1 year old with a 3-year-old who was allowed to express my 6 basic human emotions without them being suppressed. Only fear got a little bit of, and it wasn't suppression. It was, you need to go out and discover the world, because this is how my lovely mother, she sees me, and she's like, go, go. And I don't want to go. You need to go. And I still don't like when. So she does it differently now that I'm older. And that's because there's really not as much time to get me to do something. But she still will try to get me to move out of that comfort zone, which is where we all do that with each other, which is a good thing. Because comfort zone, it's not about being uncomfortable. What I mean is, it's good to have a herd that is diversification. So Manny, Sid, and Diego. Okay, so having each other doesn't mean you say yes. No, you don't feel shame for saying no. You don't feel grandiose. You don't say it's not important. That's why we do a really good job, her and I, when we get into our little debates, to meet each other in the middle and find compromise. And our heatedness is because of Neapolitans. I love Naples. This city is my heart, And on that note, so again, when I'm around boundaryless, maladaptive child behavior, I don't do anything. I do the right silence. I will learn how to say no. If they get angry, controlling, passive aggressive is really a clown attitude. If they get dismissive in the way of you're not worthy, I don't even care, because at that point it's more like, okay, that's a good thing that I'm not worthy. Evil bitch, evil witch, you call me whatever names you want. I'm okay with that, because you're no intellectually or emotionally interesting person to me right now. And your attitude really needs a therapist, but you don't want one. So Pinocchio with ears and Cusco attitude, go have fun with other Pinocchios and Peter Pans and all that. Okay, but it's sad because the wounded inner child stays in bad relationships. So I'm looked at as a securely attached person as an evil bitch or witch. It's not even about boring. When I see these attachment coaches saying secure attachment is boring, you're explaining it wrong. You're giving a bad example. What you should explain is your nervous system seeks to be as if you're a lion pouncing for a meal. Excuse me, you're not a lion. You're the human running away from the bear. Let me put it that way. So your nervous system, like mine, when these earthquakes happen, gets into that. That's not healthy. Okay, so how about we learn to regulate the words of dysregulation and dysfunction, not healthy. And so you are not in a exciting moment, even though it might be addictive, because of that fucking drugging, drinking, and the hangover movies and entertainment making it look cool. And it's because people were ignorant about our nervous system in the past. And plus, why are we comparing the past to the present? We have new information. Okay, so on that note, safety behaviors are called safety because they were for a child. They're maladaptive as a grown-up because they're no longer a person who's emotionally mature. These are new pieces of information. I get rebutted, I think is the word, by a lot of people. And the mental health mantles and the yoga mantles, well, they both are equally people who are boundaryless, whether they are grandiose or shame doesn't matter. And the ones who are love avoidant, they just are walled off to anything. So you can try talking to them about information. That's going to be the 3D. It's kind of like you tell somebody, hey, yoga, don't bring no demon out. It can be heaven in your body because it's a ventral vagal portfolio of nervous system toning exercises. So when shit comes up, what you want is a good therapist to do EMDR, child parts work, and somatics. That's what you want, not a shamanic ritual human being who'll say, don't go to a therapist. No, you don't want that mystic. You want a mystic like me who says therapy is important. You have consciousness and memory barriers, FYI. No demon come out of you. Go learn neuroscience. Patrick McNamara and the religious self. How about that? Go read a book. Get informed, shall you? So when a walled off love avoidant, because see, they're avoidant to their own inner child, it's non-bilateral integration. It's a person who will say, I don't believe in Reiki and I don't believe in neuroscience, but I'm not a flat earther. And I'm going to be like, yes, of course you're not a flat earther. I'm going to go check out. Where are those flat earthers? Come on over. Come on. I want to meet one of you. That way, maybe we can convince you to use your brain to help the environment. So here's why I'm woo-woo pseudoscience lady. You know what I'm thinking about right now is when I share about astrology. Because see, this is why I am with the sciences people. Because I'm sure that there's some geniuses out there that can explain things that are of our earth way better than I can. But when I tell people, we just had a geomagnetic storm in the Schumann resonance because I'm that mystic, and they laugh and say it means nothing. And I'm like, no, it means something. My woo-woo friends told me. So right now, this earthquake, because I was watching, so there's a guy on YouTube, and then I'm gonna let you go. But he covers the geomagnetic storms. I need to go watch his video. So apparently, we had some major geomagnetic something. Oh yeah, 4D just keeps saying how the demons are coming out of the earth because spiritual warfare. There's your disinformation. At least the other dude, this expert on the solar flares and whatever, he's pretty good. And I've seen some other ones that mix a little bit like I do because they're giving sciences. In my case, it's human sciences, but again, I'm a third vehicle. I learned from the good sciences people. So yeah, an empowered woman will discern between healthy boundaries, boundaryless, maladaptive child behavior. When I meet the women who get the desperation and manipulative, oh, I need to move away. I can't be there. Yeah, and they really just come to you with these equations of how great a job they're doing, and there's only so much information that we can share before we realize that you're not coming to hear anything because you already know everything. Teenager, that's the maladaptive child. It's the teenager. The fight response is what that was me with my leg. The fight response is what stays as the charge state that is active. That I learned from my somatopia course with Albert Wong, and Sue Martin is the teacher that taught me about the charge states, and she's obviously a therapist. All of the people I learned from are therapists. When I talk to you about trauma and attachment, they're all therapists. When I talk to you about mysticism, that's my own journey as a Reiki master. I have my lineage. As an Akashic record reader, I'm self-taught. And as a tarot card reader, I'm also self-taught. And that's because a mystic doesn't need to be taught, even though there's an in-depth journey to it. Yes, I have all the books that I need, and I get all the downloads. I mean, the reality is the only people who spend so much time in the esoteric books are the same ones who are saying that it's because of demons from the ground who are angry that we got stuff going on. And I'm thinking, okay, I know what you're talking about, but no. We are sciences, and it's 2024. And while, yes, we can understand that there are those of us who have an origin, so I'm going to leave us because this is now mystic stuff. I have shared about recognizing that there are earth soul babies, is what I talked about in one of my podcast episodes on only the audio version, and then star babies. But this is not a group. 4D mystics, they do groups. I mean, they actively talk about different types of soul stars, they give each other names. It's like high school. It's like, okay, don't you know it's just one big ball of energy? Don't you understand Christ consciousness? Don't you understand consciousness? No, they don't, because they don't look into the human brain. I did and do because I'm looking to support people to be their self. It's called a human journey, enlightenment, your humanity. It's all one and the same. So human, spirit together. Again, please be compassionate, kind. Come on over for empowered women conversations, but also empowered days and men. You're all welcome here. In my book, every person who's empowered will be joining the conversation on saying, yeah, mental, emotional, physical mastery is something we can all do when we choose to have that inner growth mindset and mental health serious business, which is secure attachment figures help other people heal. Because that's the point. They need to see what healthy self-worth people will do when they're in their maladaptive child behavior. Otherwise, they have no choice point. They can't compare and contrast. It's in the moment that they meet a healthy self-worth empowered woman that I will give you the opportunity to hear how I will treat you when you're being what is a teenager. I'm just going to leave it like that. And then you'll be able to notice what you do. And then when I'm done being classified as the evil bitch or evil witch, you'll notice she's not evil. She's just a person. And that's because you're going to have time to compare, again, notes and learn information. Because luckily in 2024, we have plenty of information. What is sad to me is when people don't recognize that they are people who have been putting themselves in relationships that are not healthy because they don't know that they're beautiful just the way they are. So it's only once you give your inner child the ability to be there, so you have self-love. That's why self-love is important. And that means you're not ashamed of yourself. And that's one of those things that people misunderstand about the spirituality. It's beyond the solo self. Even Jesus is beyond the solo self. But we're not here to do this, which is what they had us do when I went to pray And this is the posture of shame. If you keep your head down like this, I got taught in my courses on trauma, you're going to start to feel a pull down. We're not one with nature in the way of being our survival mode ancestors anymore. We don't need to look down. And they come from the medieval times. This is the part. It's not about what's written or not. It's actually using a left mode that says, wait a minute, let me think. And actually, the ones who are of faith, the ones who do speak the word of Jesus and God, they know what I'm talking about. So this is the other part. Because God and Jesus are love. It's about the higher social engagement system. And yoga and spirituality and religions are not a competition. The only ones who think of competition are the same ones who are grandiose or shame. That means they don't have a whole heart. So let's empower each other. Let's be kind, compassionate, loving. Let's know that we do have different ways of thinking and feeling. And let's, get together. Let's get together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's from one of those movies, The Parent Trap. And I'm a twin. Did I mention that? Okay, have a lovely day, and we'll be back with more. Like, subscribe, and again, if I disappear, you all know why. I hope not. We're hoping, but just in case.